Hi guys, it's me again. Today we're here to do the fanfiction tag. Now, if you follow my blog, you'll know that I am a huge fanfiction fan. The fanfiction tag was originally created by Jen Campbell, and I'll link her original video in the down bar below. But with that said, let's get started. So the first question is, do you read or write fan fiction and why? Yes, I do read fan fiction. Originally it was because I didn't have funds to buy books, but now it's because I think it's a great place to find new up-and-coming authors. A lot of authors start writing fan fiction because that's a world they're familiar with and feel like they can tweak things and, you know, kind of get their sea legs in it, but then they move on to writing their own fiction. Some of the people there are so talented. Like, let me just do a shout out. Shout out to Starlight Massacre, who does Rise of the Dragons. Oh my god, that is like 400,000 plus words. So unique. It's just like amazing. I'm addicted, and every time she posts, I like freaking do a happy dance and everybody thinks I'm psychotic in my house. So yeah. And then second was, how and when did you discover fan fiction? How old were you? I was 16, and in college I was going through a really hard time, and books are my escape. So with my very minimal budget, I couldn't get as many books as I wanted to, and so I started reading fan fiction. I was actually introduced to it by my very good friend, who actually was reading like Devil Wears Prada fan fiction in the middle of biological psychology. And I still remember sitting at the back of the lecture hall and I'm like, what the heck are you reading? And she's like, oh, it's fan fiction. I'm like, what the heck is that? And she's like, well, you know, it's basically where people take an already established book or fandom or movie or whatever, any sort of media that's already established, and basically tweak the characters or the situation to suit them and write about it. And they can be short little ficlets, they can be long ass novels, but either way, there's something there for everyone. Okay, and the next question was, how has fandom and fiction evolved since you found it? Now, I found it pretty late in the whole evolution of fan fiction, so I'd rather just talk about what I've seen in fan fiction. I think Harry Potter still remains the biggest fandom, and within Harry Potter it's always slash pairings, like Harry with another guy, and I have a theory for why that is. I think that as amazing Harry Potter was, and as amazing J.K. Rowling is as an author, that she never really had any female characters who went through as much as what she put her male characters through. So what ends up happening is that there's Harry, who at the end of the series should really honestly have PTSD, and he marries Ginny, and people are like, wait, Ginny, the like treasured girl child, she's also the baby of the family. She was protected as much as people could, so she didn't get to go on very few of Harry's adventures, and she was also in the year below, so she was kind of removed from all of the action. So then people start to look for who was part of the action, who could be and might be just as scarred as Harry. And it turns out that the top contenders are Draco, because his whole life perspective totally changed when he had to bow down to Snape Man. There's also Snape, which I think is like really hot, because the whole Harry with an older guy thing is like my favorite ever. Lucius is also popular. You get a few like Harry Blaze, Harry Theodore. Yeah, those are pretty the big ones. I've seen a couple Bill Weasley or Charlie Weasleys, or the Weasley twins, which I always think that is just fun smut. But yeah, there you have it. Okay, do you still engage with it in the way that you used to? Probably not as much. Before, I trolled a lot of fanfics, and I probably read exclusively just plain Harry Potter. Recently, I've started reading a lot more crossovers, so Harry Potter with other things. Like right now, I'm really obsessed with Hawaii Five-0, so I've done a couple of those, though there are very few of those. But I'm also a huge fan of Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, and Harry Potter Chronicles of Riddick, because Harry and Riddick's like amazing. The other thing I've changed is that I'm busier now with starting my editorial services and reviewing books and doing these videos and stuff, so I don't have as much time. So I'm probably just sticking to exploring within authors that I know. Like, for instance, I'm pretty sure I've read all of Starlight Massacre's fanfics, and I have like favorited them, and like I get alerts, and like I said, I do a happy dance when I get those. But I also read like Windseeker 2305 or something like that. She does this wonderful Ukate. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Ukate trilogy, which is beyond amazing. So yeah, I probably stick to those the most. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, which fandoms do you enjoy reading or writing? Harry Potter, number one, will always be number one. I don't think I've ever read anything that didn't have Harry Potter in it. Like, if it's a crossover, that's all great and good, but it has to have Harry in it. And I don't care for the other Harry Potter characters. It has to be Harry. I don't want Hermione and Riddick. No, Harry. But like I said, Riddick, Lord of the Rings, because Harry should have totally ended up with Haldir. Oh my God. I just saw that. I was like, that is amazing. Yeah, I've done like a couple of Harry and Fast and the Furious ones because, okay, let me just say, Vin Diesel is the man. So 2 of my favorite people smashed together, awesomeness ensues. Yeah. So what are my 1-2 pairings or my OTPs? I would have to say that my absolute favorite Harry with an older guy within just the Harry Potter fandom would probably be Harry Snape or Harry Lucius. I think Snape makes for an interesting character to write, and he has this intensity that makes for a really good slow burn, if you know what I mean. It's like, it's not wham bam thank you ma'am and then suddenly like, oh my God, he's pregnant, so now we have to kind of have a relationship. No, it develops slower because Snape is not a very emotive guy, so he holds his cards very close to his chest, and Harry is rather loud and brash, so there's a lot of like mini angst, but not like devastating like crap. But yeah, no, one of my favorite ones is the Marriage Stone by Josephine Darcy, who like left it, and that shit was good. So I was very upset, and many people have continued it, but I just feel like it didn't go the way it should have in those continuations. But I still reread that incompleted fic all the time when I need a good pick-me-up. So yeah, Harry Snape probably takes the cake. Have you told anyone that I write fan fiction? I started a fanfic and I made my own supernatural creature, and then I decided along the way, which by along the way I mean like 2 chapters in, so that's like 8,000 words in, that I would rather write my own book with that creature in it. But at the time I did tell my mom, who is not technologically savvy and she's not into fan fiction at all, but she read it and she liked it. So what does fan fiction mean to me? I think fan fiction, like I said, is a good place for authors to get their sea legs. I also think that fan fiction is kind of, you know, readers' way to go back and fix what wasn't perfect in the first or the original series or book or whatever it is. I think that sometimes when you're an author and you're writing and you've got your process and you go through your drafts, the end result is always better than the first draft. But when so many people have input into a particular project, you get so many ideas and ways to improve that, and the end product is even sometimes equal to or better than the original. It's kind of like this. If any of you are Pentatonix fans, you have heard their covers. I like some of their original songs, right? But when they put their little pentatonic twist on it, it's just like revelation happens and you're like, I didn't think it would work that way, but you've turned something that was already great into something even better. And what I love is that it belongs to the readers in the first place. So it's like magic happens there and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. So do I prefer canon-based fanfiction or AU? So AU is like author's universe or alternate universe. I am a big fan of AU. Canon is great, but canon implies that, you know, whatever you add should flow seamlessly into the original story. And I wasn't happy with how Harry was portrayed. I feel like that for someone who had gone through so much abuse, he really shouldn't have been so meek. Not quite meek, but he kind of was too accepting. And I think he should have really taken the opportunity to say, you know, now I'm away from the Dursleys. I'm surrounded by people who think I'm the bomb, and I'm going to be the best version of myself that I can be. And instead, I felt like he bowed down to other people's expectations for him. And so anything that follows that canon plotline where he's really good friends with Dumbledore, or he's dumbing himself down for Hermione, or anything like that, unless it's like a Slytherin and Gryffindor clothing, unless it's one of those scenarios, I don't particularly enjoy them. So definitely alternate universe. The more supernatural, the better. And last question, tell us about a fanfiction you've either read or written. Okay. Once again, Starlight Massacre, Rise of the Dragons. Basically, it's like Harry wakes up on his 16th, I think, birthday and discovers that he is now a draken, which is like a dragonoid sort of creature, and that and he's a submissive draken, and so he has these really strong instincts to find a mate. So the rest of the book, the really, really, really long book, which I love because it's like the novel that never ends, goes about how Harry finds his mates. And yes, it's a polyamorous book. Get over it. If you like Laurel K. Hamilton, you'll love this one, because I do. It's a polyamorous one, and I think it's the most interesting because you get to see the relationship dynamics between, Harry, Max, Nasta, Draco, and Blaise. 5 men who live together and then have children. And it's so real. Starlight Massacre does such a great job of keeping track of everything she writes, and I feel like she's dedicated. She is practicing her authoring skills like on point. I know, just like the other day, she's like, I lost my notebook and I can't remember how many freaking teeth the babies have, because she catalogs every time she says this child cut a tooth in this place. She writes it down, and I admire that dedication because it lends so much believability and authenticity and authority to her writing that's what makes it enjoyable. You don't have to think, oh come on, J.K. Rowling would have never done that, because she's made it her own. So you never even compare her to J.K. Rowling, and she's her own thing. She's doing it hard and she's doing it well. So if you haven't, I will include a link to Rise of the Dragons in the down bar. Like I said, it's Harry slash, so you know, keep that in mind, but it's amazing. Alright guys, that's it for the tag. Let me know down below if you guys love fan fiction and what fandoms you read. I have been trying to explore other fandoms, but it's kind of hard if you don't know like the media. I've been branching out into like Grimm, but like I said, lots of my exploratory behavior revolves around Harry Potter crossovers. So let me know if you have some really good, supernaturally badass kind of ones that you think I'd be interested in. Alright guys, I will see you next time. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed my really, really long video of why I adore fan fiction. And don't forget to subscribe. I am doing a few new things this month, and I'm really, really excited to get them out to you guys. And I will, I promise. So, alright, see you next time. Bye!